Here is one lore fact you probably didn't know about every agent. Brimstone. Back when Brimstone was in high school, he was actually very into competitive fighting games. One day after school, his best friend beat him in a match which resulted in Brimstone losing it and punching straight through the machine. In order to pay this off, he had to wash cars for a month. Viper. While Viper is known for her expertise in toxins and poison gas, before a certain event occurred in her life which changed her perspective of everything, she was actually an expert on medicine and healing, a near opposite of what she does now. Omen. For a bit of time, the community suspected that Omen was in some way tied to an octopus. After Riot's developers heard about this, they found it amusing and decided to fuel the theory even further by adding several teasers. One of them includes an octopus buddy that's pink or red colored when equipped on every weapon, except for Omen's Soul Silencer Ghost, where it changes colors to look exactly like Omen. Killjoy. In Killjoy's spare time, she actually plays League of Legends, making it canon that the organization Riot Games exists in the Valorant universe as well. Cipher. Cipher is the first agent to be added to the game as an NPC. All the way back in patch 5.07, an animated model of Cipher was added to the range and occasionally removed and re-added in different patches, giving new lore audio in his office. Eventually, he became a playable character. Sova. Sova's owl drone was actually developed originally to be a drone dart ability for the agent Jules, which was later scrapped. Sage. While Sage is known as a mother-like figure and her healing abilities and compassion towards her fellow team members, in KO's alternate timeline in the future, Sage is actually known for being a very destructive weapon during war rather than being a healer. Who knows what she can really do? Phoenix. Phoenix is one of the only agents in Valorant's lore who has almost a complete lore story. We know his backstory, what led up to most of the major events in his life, all the way up until now where he has reconnected with his family after years of separation. Jett. Before joining the Valorant protocol, Jett was actually a chef and had a family restaurant in Seoul, Korea, which was ultimately destroyed in a storm. And before I move on, I just want to quickly shout out Game Rumble for sending me one of their LED wireless PlayStation 5 controllers. Straight out of the box, I think this is one of the best looking controllers out there. It feels very sturdy and high quality, all the buttons are crisp and responsive, and this controller does have its own unique RGB lighting which can actually be controlled with this button over here. It also contains two programmable buttons in the back, and with a full charge, this controller will last between 10 to 15 hours. And while it is a PS5 controller, it can also be used for your PC for those of you looking to buy a new controller for that, such as those of you guys who play Rocket League. I do have the link in the description below if you want to check them out. Big thank you once again to them for sending me this controller to try out and to show you guys. Alright, back to the video. Reyna. Reyna's eyes were actually not originally the sharp purple that we know of. Before becoming a Radiant, her eyes were a different color, and it's been noted that Radianite can alter certain aspects of one's appearance upon exposure, which explains why Reyna's eyes changed colors once she became a Radiant. Raze. There's a good chance that the Raze that we see on Alpha Earth is not the original Raze from this planet. The original Alpha Raze had attended a concert in Berlin with Killjoy and Phoenix, only to then go missing and find herself stranded on the map Breeze. She has no idea how she got there and can't remember, and the community has since theorized that Alpha Raze is still missing, and that the Raze found on Breeze is her Omega double posing as the original. Breach. Breach is the tallest agent of the Valorant protocol according to the canon lore of the game. Skye. Skye's powers are not limited to her just creating a dog, bird, and the cabbage plants. She can actually summon others as well. She once tried to summon a dragon, but it didn't go very well. This just tells us that if Skye were to master her powers, she could be a whole other monster on the battlefield. Yoru. Yoru's mask comes from a period known as the Edo period. This was a period back in the 1600s, and what's interesting is that the mask contains traces of Radianite. This means that Radianite had existed and was discovered long before the first light event in ancient history. Astra. David Nottingham had actually read two books for the creation of Astra, The Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. KO. KO is the only agent who knows what the futures of other agents look like on the Valorant protocol. He's seen and killed Reyna after she started and led a global war. She stated that Astra is not a protector of reality, but a destroyer of worlds. Sage being a weapon and not a medic, and Skye turning into something that no one wants to deal with if she learns how to master her powers. But since he's a time traveler across a different timeline, KO doesn't actually exist on Alpha Earth, or doesn't exist yet, as a Radiant War is yet to happen in the future. Chamber. Chamber is the only known agent to have worked together and have direct relation with his Omega counterpart. They have a deal together and no one knows exactly what this deal is, but whatever it is and his goals are, it haunts Chamber according to his dossier as to what the others will think of him. Neon. Neon has abilities that are inaccessible in the actual game. She has the ability to send a shockwave in a radius around her, stunning all those nearby within range. Because of the device on her back intentionally limiting her powers, there are probably several other abilities that Neon have which are incredibly strong but just can't be used. Fade. If you pay close attention to Fade's voice lines, she commonly refers to nightmares. But she isn't talking about an actual nightmare that you have when you sleep. She calls it the nightmare, referring to an actual entity that is real to Fade in her mind and takes a heavy toll on her. Harbor. Harbor is the third Valorant agent to own or is known to have operated a motorcycle, with the other two being Brimstone and Yoru. Gekko. Gekko is the only agent known who can directly communicate with Radivores. After gaining markings on his arms after obtaining his Radivores, he's able to directly communicate with them through some sort of internal channel. Deadlock also bears a similar marking on her neck after her encounter with a Radivore bear, so it's likely that she would have also been able to communicate with that Radivore if it were still alive. Veto, on the other hand, is still unknown if he can directly communicate on a linguistic level with the Radivore that is within him. Deadlock. After Deadlock lost her arm in the encounter with the Radivore bear or Radibear in the Unmade cinematic, Sage had actually offered to restore her arm back to the way it was. Deadlock rejected Sage's offer because she wanted her injury to remain in memory of her fallen comrades that day, and instead had a prosthetic arm built for her. ISO. ISO is the only agent whose voice actor has never been revealed and still remains a mystery. Clove. We know that Clove is very into the game Dungeons and Dragons, and they actually play D&D with Killjoy, Phoenix, and Fade. It's also a reflection of their childhood imagination, as Clove wanted to be a pirate sorcerer as a child and tried to summon a kraken in the bathtub. Vyse. Vyse is actually very into fashion, and she keeps a sketchbook with her where she has redesigned every single agent. Tejo. Tejo and Brimstone used to work together back in their military days, and Brimstone blames Tejo for something he had done, causing the death of someone Brimstone cares for. Waylay. Waylay offered the protocol agents to visit a paintball range that she knows of in her hometown the next time they want to blow off steam. Veto. Unlike Gekko, Veto has a direct DNA mutation with his Radivore. It's unknown if this Radivore can exist outside of Veto's body at this time. Agent 30. While Agent 30 isn't out yet, a quick fun theory is that it's highly possible that this new agent is one of Sage's teachers back when she was at the monastery in China, and this person taught her how to use and master her abilities. Let me know how many of these facts you knew or didn't know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Valorant lore and updates. Make sure you drop a like, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.